Hey guys, welcome back. We're Loading Screen. I'm Sam.
I'm Jason.
And today we're going to talk about Fallout 76. And I don't want to offend anyone, but the game is not great. It has not turned out the way I wanted it to. I had it preloaded on my Xbox One X, and the game looks great. I'm not going to say that because it doesn't look great.
If frame by frame, the game looks great.
If you're standing stationary, the game looks good.
Super excited for the game. Downloaded it, and then, I don't know, it just didn't run right. And I figured that there was going to be glitches from the get-go. But just trying to party up and just nothing was really clicking. So.
Right. Well, and I think Bethesda's biggest failure, their beta was a joke. It was 2 hours long on the weekend.
For 1 week or something like that.
Yeah, for 1 or 2 weeks, yeah. It was just 2 hours long, and that's not enough time to beta test anything. MMOs usually have weeks of beta, and, you're supposed to be able to put in your complaints and tell them about glitches that are happening. Bethesda really failed on that front. I think they expected it to do as well as Elder Scrolls Online, but, ID Software was at the helm for that game, and I just feel like maybe Bethesda should have done the same for Fallout.
Yeah, I don't even want to keep tooting their horn, but Rockstar knocked out of the park. They released Red Dead Redemption 2 online, and in comparison, it runs flawlessly.
And I think the saddest thing about Fallout 76 is the first night we got it, we were playing together, and it ran mostly okay. There were some things wrong with it, but
that was the smoothest that it ran was the first night, and then
yep.
Then you had your 40 gig update,
and it ran worse
a week later or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like I was trying not to hate, but just the more I played it, I was disappointed.
Yeah,
so
and the thing is, there are aspects about it I actually enjoy. I like building our camp, but even just building our camp, we ran into that issue where Jason couldn't access any of my things. He could build, but he couldn't access any of my inventory. He couldn't add to my inventory, so our camps weren't really together, and that was kind of pointless to me because I thought the whole point was to build with your friends and fight other people. And that brings us to our other note, that fighting other people, you get punished so badly for shooting other characters that it's just not worth it. And that's, an MMO is supposed to have those risks involved, especially an MMO that is a first-person shooter.
I feel like they should have dragged their beta. I don't know what I was saying. I feel like they should have dragged their beta out for another month.
Yep.
And hopefully it had half the amount of errors it has now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the update did. Apparently it just broke it even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's 40 more gigs of crap. Thanks.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like my theory behind this is that Bethesda is getting ready for Elder Scrolls 6. That's going to be a huge game, and I am a huge Elder Scrolls fan. I cannot wait, but I just don't feel like that's an excuse to give us an incomplete piece of shit. It's not, and I love Bethesda, but I just feel like we excuse their glitches too often. I loved the other Fallouts, but the other Fallouts were so full of glitches that I couldn't. There were game-breaking glitches. I remember walking through the wasteland one time, just fell through the world, and my game saved that way. I had to backtrack like 3 more saves just to get to a point where the game wasn't broken anymore.
I wasn't expecting Fallout 5 like everyone else was. I was just looking for a good multiplayer with a Fallout feel to it.
Bethesda follows a pattern. They come out with one game, and then they're going to do like a smaller, lesser version of that game in between, and then they'll go on to the next sequel. In this instance, they had Fallout 3, they did Fallout New Vegas, and then we got Skyrim, and then they did ESO, and they did Fallout 4, and they follow that pattern. So I really feel like Fallout New Vegas was an excellent game, but they also partnered with Obsidian, and Obsidian did a great job with that game. Bethesda, they just definitely went all in for Fallout 76, but I just don't feel like the effort was there.
I would have been fine with waiting a couple more months before getting the game instead of paying $60 to kind of play it. I mean, there's a lot of people that are still playing it, still enjoying it, but overall as a game, I just think there's more complaints than there are positive reviews right now. So
for sure, yeah. And we're definitely not the only ones. Right now, Bethesda is actually being threatened with legal action because their game was so bad that people that have purchased it online want refunds for their game. And usually I'd be like, well, they don't deserve refunds because, we as gamers, we buy a brand new game, we can't return it. We're stuck with that game unless we sell it for a less amount of money.
Steam would reimburse you if you didn't care for the game, and they did away with that, and so now people feel cheated that like, okay, you got rid of the one thing that we could get our money back through, and now you're just trying to collect and run away with all the profits. But
right, and it was a little suspicious that Bethesda made their own website to download this, and because they've always worked through Steam. Their workshop is through Steam. It supported mods and all that stuff, but this game, I just feel like they intentionally put this game out expecting it to do badly, or at least knew that a lot of their target audience wasn't going to like it. And, it just feels like they gave us a broken game, and, a lot of these people want their refund. And it kind of reminds me a lot of No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was a huge game when it came out. A lot of people were excited for it on Steam, but it was like after the first day, it went from like 60-some thousand people down to 10,000 people, and a lot of people got their money back from Steam, and that's all they expected with Fallout 76, but Bethesda kind of screwed them on that, and I really completely agree with them that they should be at least penalized for that.
But like I said, there's a lot of people that are still having a lot of luck with the game. They're not really having too many glitches. But just from the amount of time that we put into it, there were more glitches than anything. We were able to complete some of the story missions, but it was just running so choppy that it just took the fun out of it.
Right.
And it wasn't monitoring our inventory correctly. We'd collect things, they wouldn't show up. And so at that point, we're just like, why progress if we're not sure if that'll even save correctly or whatever? So
it's not even its functionality that bothers me the most. What bothers me is that the story that is there requires you to read a lot, and it's really not that great of a story in comparison to other games. Like the quest we just did,
Firekeepers?
The Firekeepers, yeah. That quest wasn't even really fun. We partied up, and it should share the quest between us, but it doesn't. I completed mine, and we thought he had completed his because he got the note for my quest that it was complete. We go all the way back and find out we have to do his too. So we have to go all the way back down into the mining area and complete it again. Luckily, all the villains were dead at the time.
And it started out, our first couple missions that we did, it did share together. I don't know if that was on purpose or what, but then when we went to do these ones, then we realized that we had to do everything separately. And so, like I said, I don't know if that was glitching out or if that was actually how it was supposed to be. That wasn't clear at that point. So, like I said, it's still fun. Any game that you can play with your friends, it's going to be enjoyable, but just kind of missed the mark on this one.
Yeah. And, we're not trying to sway any of you guys that do enjoy it or want to pick it up. Like Jason was saying, it's multiplayer, so there are fun aspects to it. But we just want to warn you that you should expect a lot of glitches.
It's not a complete game right now.
It's definitely not a complete game. I think, in a year with a lot of support, the game could potentially be very fun.
I mean, all of the previous games have always been like that to a certain extent. Upon release, they have all the glitches, and then it really takes about a good solid year before you have a flawless game.
I think my main problem with Bethesda right now is that they seem a step behind in game development and graphics. Skyrim, when it came out, did look really great, but when Fallout 4 came out, I don't think it really looked next gen. It looked kind of, it looked kind of cartoony. The textures weren't really there. They were kind of smooth.
Yeah.
And I just feel like in this day and age, graphics should be top notch.
Right.
And I'm not saying graphics make up for a good game, because I have played games with bad graphics that were actually really fun, really amazing games. But, if you compare to other games that came out at the same time, there were games that really looked next gen and were amazing. I just feel like Bethesda is really missed the mark with Fallout 76, and I hope that Elder Scrolls 6 is absolutely amazing. And I know that they already said that Elder Scrolls 6 is on their next gen engine, so here's hoping.
Alright guys, that's all we have for today. We appreciate you watching our video, and if you like what you saw, please hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.